You know, it really doesn't matter how many times we hear about it. Remembering and also understanding how a president can win the popular vote but still not win the office. It confuses a lot of people during our election year. So recently, I spoke with Dean Daniel Prosterman. He's the Dean of College at Salem College. He's kind of an expert on this, and he explained it for us. Here's part of that conversation. All right, Daniel, as promised, we will start with hard news first. So let's talk about this, the Electoral College. Most people, I don't care how many times we explain it, we forget it. What is it and how does it work?
We do not follow a straight Democratic vote for the White House. Instead, what we are essentially doing as voters is we elect electors who then meet after Election Day. They come together and then they vote for who our president will be.
Can you talk just for a second about the electors themselves and how they get to their position?
The electors are chosen usually at the local and state level, oftentimes by the political parties themselves. They are selected in order to best reflect the vote of the people of that particular state. But certain states still permit what's called faithless electors, in which the electors could go ahead and vote for whomever they please. So even in 2016, the final Electoral College vote did not match the initial recording for the vote. There were 3 electors who voted for Colin Powell.
Would there ever be a time that we would change this, or is it too politically motivated?
Well, there has been a big movement in favor of changing the Electoral College system, especially when we've had a few elections in the past, say, 20 years, as you well know, in which case the popular vote has not decided the Electoral College winner. So as the case with Al Gore in the year 2000, with Hillary Clinton in 2016, there's been an increasing movement of support behind simply allowing the person who receives the highest number of votes nationally to be awarded the presidency. The argument in favor of the Electoral College is pretty much the same now as it was at the time of the founding of the country. Which is that the Electoral College enables smaller, less populated states to have a voice in the system. So no matter how small your state is, you are guaranteed Electoral College votes at least equivalent to the number of representatives you have in Congress. So all states have 2 senators and at least 1 member in the House of Representatives. So that means each state is guaranteed 3 votes in the Electoral College, no matter how small they are.
All right, so with all this election stress that everybody's under these days, it seems like I wanted to get something a little bit more positive. So I asked folks on Facebook, all the election issues aside, what is America's greatest asset? And you guys sounded off, and I will tell you, I have never in the history of this show had as many people as quickly responding to this. Let's start out with Anne Marie. She said the people's ability to choose freely how we wish to live our lives. J. Lee Thompson said it in one word: freedom, our greatest asset. Mike Mezzi says it's the people. And Michelle said people first, freedom second, love third. Gloria Gleason said our belief in God and our Constitution. And I think Ashley Cakes Nicole had a little bit of fun with this. She said high-speed internet. So at least we still have our sense of humor with all of this. And coming up, just high-speed internet, I wouldn't argue that's a good asset. I don't know if it's the greatest. But I will say my 2 cents coming up at the end of the show, I talk a little bit about this and something I've come to realize over the last couple of days.
Yeah, Eric, I think here on Election Day, I have to say America's greatest asset is democracy. The fact that we get to choose our leaders, I think, is very important and something we shouldn't forget, especially as millions of people are casting their ballots.
Yeah, and I think that
completely.
is something that we may take for granted, just to get out and vote. I mean, there are some countries that don't even get that opportunity. So if you haven't already, you have until 7:30. It's 4:17.
That's right.
Go out there and get it done.
Yes, you have to be in line by 7:30. Hey, if you have any more questions about voting today, we are chatting with you on the 4 to 5 live stream. You can find that on the WFMY News 2 Facebook page.